Just put up the card. Just put up the card. Just show it. This card is going to break the internet. It's going to break the Pokemon community. And I was avoiding even talking about the newest set coming up because I feel like I don't want to add to the hype. But when you see something this good and you have to like annotate why the set's going to cost so much and why I think we're still going to have issues, you know, as Pokemon takes, you know, everyone talks about 7 to 10 months to print. And we may not get this based on, you know, things kind of blew up around November, December timeframe. And so reality is I don't know how much access there is going to be to this, but the fact that the original 151 Pokemon are getting love and an original trainer is getting love, this card is just going to blow up. It's an AR, and so it's not the top tier rarity that's there, so it won't have texture and stuff like that. But the water, also on top of that, this is a continuation card. If you look back at the Starmie, which by the way is the #1 card, I believe, for Astral Radiance Trainer Gallery as far as value or cost, it's also very difficult to get in a PSA 10, is her also in this blue bathing suit as well with Starmie. So in the water kind of situation, looks like a pool. So this one looks like, you know, the lake or whatever, but still similar kind of situation that I'm just like, I could totally see this card blowing up along with all the people like us that were from Generation 1 that are getting the love from the 151 collection that are now looking at cards like this. We're like, this, our brains could not compute this. Our brains could not truthfully, you know, understand a card of this magnitude because before it was so one directional as like just the Pokemon with maybe some leaves or maybe some holographic foiling background. But I mean, this is insane. I think this will be the top chase card of the entire set, even though it's not the top rare. And I wanted to lead that into the Psyduck. You know, again, we have seen a lot of leaks, I don't want to say leaks, but interpretations of cards that have deeper meaning or deeper perspective in different aspects of the map or the town that we played the games in. And so I'm like, well, if Psyduck is here, we might want to look at the 151 Psyduck, and I'm seeing Psyduck walking down these stairs through these trees. Like, where do these stairs lead to? Is it to a, you know, down to a riverine or something like that? Like, I don't know. I'd love to see if anybody can, you know, pick things apart and see how these are actually connected, because if you can, it might be a cool collection to collect this themed story and kind of play it out and kind of tell that just through the pictures of the card. And the other one that's going to break the internet that I have not talked about is Cynthia's Garchomp, which I think is a continuation card I'm noticing as well, because look at her right now. She's battling the Garchomp. And while the Garchomp card V that she was previously in was not very noteworthy other than like the blue background, make sure you guys are like, comment, subscribing, because we're trying to get on the road to 1,000 subs. I'd appreciate it. Essentially, this is very dynamic. And I want to show the other card because she's wearing this same outfit in both cards. And so I don't know if that's artistic choice, style, if they're doing consistency, and what that is. But I wish there was some correlation between the cards because that would be very cool. But if we could get other cards like this with Cynthia's Garchomp in some other form, holy cow, this is like action. I feel like it's almost like on the Pokemon Pocket TCG, like you want to hold it down and you want to watch the scene play out. Like I don't know, man. I think they could totally do that with Pokemon Pocket TCG, where like if you had the physical card, maybe there's some link of connectivity where you get to see some immersive nature of it through like an AR thing, like you hover over it or something, just because I think that would just kind of link those two worlds between the digital and the physical world, because this card deserves some kind of motion with it. And that also goes to the card that I think is probably my favorite on here, besides the Garchomp, which I do enjoy. And I think it's going to be not overvalued, but it'll be a card that we all can afford. And this is the Ho-Oh. And that's because Ho-Oh has not gotten a lot of love. Let's just be honest. In regards to like rarity, in regards to cards, you know, there is a different aspect, even though this presents a similar aspect as the Lugia V alt art that is very popular and hundreds of dollars. That one presents like a very dark nature where if you were around during Gen 2 and like the opening scenes of the game and showing them flying through the sunset and kind of, going away or whatever, or even in the videos that we used to watch, like this is kind of that. It shows Ho-Oh in a mythical, mystic way. And I think the term legendary kind of got overplayed by Pokemon a little bit. But, when you're talking about the first three legendary birds, then you had Ho-Oh and Lugia. And then after that, I think it's kind of weird, right? But I try and still have a love. I at least have a love again for this. And I think a lot of people that are in my spot that were Gen 1ers and rolled right into Gen 2 are going to see this card and be like, let's eat this up. Even though the trainer is not a trainer that we're really familiar with, I think the Pokemon itself will kind of have some kind of pull for that. The last part is the freaking Hydrapple. This card a lot of people are hyped on. I did like some of the cards that we've had from Hydrapple, Apple, and stuff like that have been very cool and quirky, and even the like wallpaper-ish looking kind of art, I would say, that nobody was like, I don't really like Hydrapple, but this card is actually pretty different than all these other ones. And I like different. And even with that, like, this is different because if you look at a lot of the other cards, it's kind of in this like not very action worthy type thing, where this Hydrapple version, you're going to see like actual action, and the color palette is all over the place. I think this era of cards is showing that color, crazy art, this like very modern artistic style is really going to take off, and I think will be something that we see in the test of time of Pokemon. Maybe they'll draw back during Black and White and play something on those themes as well. But, other than that, I've been trying to avoid talking about all these cards because the hype is so real. But you sit here and you're like, these cards are going to hype the set even more. And I love Pokemon. I do. I really do. It's just going to be crazy for a little bit longer if we're talking about the 7 to 10 month window, because if you look at when Pokemon took off, that was around like November. Let's be honest with this. So if that's the case, we're not going to see anything until probably summer, where we're seeing maybe adjusted stock levels. And I don't know if the Battle Arena set or Destined Rivals for us here in America are going to be able to meet that demand just based on those kind of timelines everyone's kind of aware of. But do you enjoy Misty's Psyduck? Because let me know down in the comments below. I think the Japanese, it's going to be a premium card over there because they love their waifus. But what do you think about the three kind of main cards I've been talking about here? And let me know what you're going to pick up from it if you can.